Happy to be joined now. Thank everybody for tuning in. I know it's been an exciting day so far. It's been an exciting interview that I've been looking forward to here, as both these guys significance to me. Jake the Snake Roberts on the line with us. Jake was, of course, in the main event of the very first wrestling I ever went to as a kid, so I'm looking forward to this. And Jake, of course, has been working out and living with DDP, Diamond Dallas Page, who is the owner and creator of DDP Yoga, which you can find that at ddpyoga.com. Guys, how are you?
Well, one of us is here because the other is in a doctor's office right now. So he had to go see the doc, bro. So we'll get him back on here so you can talk to him directly. But you can interview me about him right now.
Oh, DDP, we appreciate it. Well, I guess I got to ask you, this has got to be this is something I was going to ask both of you, but it's certainly applicable, especially to you, Dallas. This has got to be kind of like life coming full circle. I mean, Jake helped train and get you into the business, and now you're helping him in a whole different fashion. This has got to be full circle.
Yeah, it's funny what do they say? When the student becomes a teacher, the circle is complete, right? I always say, without Dusty Rhodes, the American dream, if you will. Without Dusty Rhodes, there is no Diamond Dallas Page. He gave me every break I had at the beginning of my career. But without Jake Roberts, I never transcend into not only a top guy, but a main eventer, guy who's a three-time world champion. It just doesn't happen without Jake.
DDP, I don't do yoga myself, but from what I can tell, a lot of yoga, it all comes back to basic principles in terms of the movements and the philosophy of it. But yours has become very successful. I know a lot of people that use yours, both everyday civilians and workers in the business that have used it and rave about it. What is it? Is it your motivational skills? What is it that makes DDP Yoga successful?
Well, first of all, I never call it yoga. And I don't, because there are so many kinds of yoga, and so many of them, you can put them all in one box. And a lot of them are very spiritual. I like to say, for me personally, I love all different kinds of yoga because I've tried them all. But for the first 42 years of my life, I was a guy who wouldn't be caught dead doing yoga. So I get people who don't, who say that. But I didn't start wrestling until I was 35. My career did not take off until I was 40. And that was in 1996, 97, and 98. I was on top of the world, the top 4 wrestlers in the world, according to Pro Wrestling Illustrated. And that's why I blew my back out. And when I blew my back out and they said I couldn't wrestle anymore, I just signed a 3-year, multi-million-dollar deal. I'd try anything. So I did start to do the yoga, and I was really blown away by how much it started to help my flexibility and core strength. But yoga really doesn't work your upper body unless you're doing a form called Ashtanga. I wanted something that was like weightlifting, yet body-to-body, strength conditioning. And what I did was I took the yoga moves, and I literally got rid of all of the spiritual mumbo-jumbo. And like I said before, not that there's anything wrong with that. It's really cool for the people who dig that. But it wasn't really my thing, and it sure wasn't people that I was going to be working with thing. Because like me, they were people who wouldn't be caught dead doing yoga. So I took those yoga positions, and I mixed them with the rehab. I've rehabbed both shoulder surgeries, both knee surgeries. Now I was just rehabbing my back. But just the rehab wasn't cutting it. So I mixed the rehab with the old school calisthenics and the yoga positions. And then I added something I call dynamic resistance. And that's what really makes DDP Yoga its own animal. Now, have you ever done yoga before?
I have not.
Your hands are free, right? You have you're just talking to a microphone right now,
yeah,
right?
My hands are free right now, yep.
I'm going to show you something.
All right.
Now, just stay where you are right now, but whenever anybody thinks of yoga, they think, reach your arms to the heavens so the universe smiles back at you. I won't be doing any of that, okay? What I want you to do...
I'm stretching right now. I'm doing it. I was going to make the diamond cutter. I was going to make the diamond cutter symbol.
That's the yoga. But that's the yoga attitude, okay? that most people think is the yoga attitude. Now, here's what I want you to do. This is called dynamic resistance.
Okay.
I want you to push your thumbs and index fingers against each other. It's like you're making a diamond cutter sign, right?
Uh-huh.
Now, I really want you to push hard. Notice how the inside of your forearm, your pecs, and your biceps all engaged. Do you notice that?
I do. I have muscles. I never knew I had muscles in places I never knew I had places. This is working out.
Okay. Now straighten your arms out in front of you, but keep making the diamond cutter sign. Keep pushing your thumbs and index fingers against each other. Now pull your pinkies away from your thumbs, like try to spread them as far away as you can while you're pushing your thumb and index fingers together. Now notice your hand, the outside of your forearm, your tricep, your delt, and your trap are all engaged, right?
They are. I do have a trap.
Okay. Now I want you to lift your arms, not fast, with a little bit of resistance. Like you can create your own resistance as if it's weight. Now lean back as far as you feel comfortable. Bring your arms out to a T. Clench your fist and give me your best Hulk Hogan and Hulk it up, brother. Yeah. Tension, shoulders back, chest out, open those fingers wide.
This is why DDPO is successful. We're in the middle of a promotional interview, and I'm getting free instruction on the radio. This is fantastic.
And aren't you starting your forehead starting to get sweaty?
Oh, I'm past that point. Yes.
But you understand what I mean? What's happened here, the reason why you feel like you're getting flushed, you're starting to sweat, is because every time you engage or flex a muscle, your heart has to beat faster to get the blood to the muscle. That's what DDP yoga is. DDP yoga is kick-ass cardio that will dramatically increase your flexibility and strengthen your core muscles like never before with minimal joint impact. Were you an athlete growing up?
Yes.
Okay, so how old are you now?
25.
Okay, you're still a baby. And I always say no pain, no gain works right on up to you're about 25. Maybe even if you're a really superb athlete, you can do it up to 30. But after 30, pain means pain. And you want to be doing the least amount of impact to your body from then on. And with my workout, with any kind of like cardiovascular conditioning workout, except for spinning or cycling, everything's monster impact. And when you're spinning, it's minimal joint impact too. But if anything, it takes your flexibility the other way. It inhibits your flexibility, and it does zero for your core strength. That's why DDP Yoga, which if you go to ddpyoga.com, you can see it all. DDP Yoga is the only workout that, again, kick-ass cardio, flexibility, core strength with minimal joint impact. That's what makes it its own animal, and that's why your guys dig it. Plus, they got me teaching it. Whole different animal.
ddpyoga.com is where you can find it. We're talking to Diamond Dallas Page, and Dallas, I got to say, I mean, talk about this. Talk about your career overall here, and then we'll go into Jake a little bit. I mean, obviously, as you said, your story's there. You got into the business at what's considered an old age by a lot of the industry standards. At 35, as you said, took off when you had about 40. Talking about your whole career, and then I think what's amazing with you is your ability to have built your brand now even post being active. I remember, I don't know if you remember this. I know you got so much going on. A couple years ago, you and I were both working the WrestleMania Kevin Nash party, and I thought it was a great thing in Miami. And if you ever get to meet DDP, make sure you get to do this. You're doing the yoga moves and the stretches, and you really have took your brand to a whole other level. Talk about this as a whole in terms of making something of yourself and the entrepreneur end of this.
Well, first of all, I never call it yoga, like, ever, because everybody wants to put it in a box. And everybody's talking to me, and they go, "You're doing your yoga." I go, "What's it called?" And they go, "You're doing your yoga." I go, "What's it called?" "You're doing DDP yoga." Right. Because there's nothing like it. I just did a signing in in Chicago, big Comic-Con. Me and Jake were both there, C2E2. And we were slammed the entire time. And I was there for 3 days. But every 10 people, I stopped, I stood up, and I said, y'all guys all know about DDP Yoga, right? Everybody knows. I said, any of you seen the disabled veteran that I helped? And some people say, oh, God, that was unbelievable. And people, no, I haven't seen that. I said, you need to go to ddpyoga.com to watch the video, but let me give you the cliff notes here. I'm going to show you some pictures. And when I showed them the pictures of Arthur Borman, who's standing there at 5'6", 297 pounds, knee braces, back brace, and wrap around what he called wrist cuffs, those walk-around canes that are on your wrist. And then you see him drop 140 pounds, and you see him do these strength positions that are flexible as hell. You can't believe it. So I showed them that. And then I showed not only did he lose 140 pounds, he lost the knee braces, the back brace, and the wraparound canes. And I show a couple other people. And then somebody asks me a question or two, then I'll pick my foot up and just put it over my own head while I'm talking to them. And they're shocked. They go, oh, my God. If I do the fold forward and show my flexibility, cold, I put my forehead on my shin. Flexibility is use. And that's what I'm trying to explain. Core strength is everything.
Yeah, I did see that video. I definitely suggest people check it out. It is on the homepage when you go to ddpyoga.com. I've watched it a few times. I actually just showed it to a family member the other day, just the story of it, of Arthur. DDP, talk about you have Jake. Jake's been with you, I think, since August. Scott Hall obviously just moved in. You guys did a great campaign to raise money for Scott. And Jake and Scott were, I think most would agree with me, the two most publicized big name professional wrestlers in terms of that had to go through hell in their personal lives, that went through some dark days, and they now both seem to be just doing complete 180s and doing so well, obviously, and huge thanks to at least your motivation and your assistance you provided them. I mean, I say this kind of jokingly, but I'm kind of serious in a way. You're doing a better job rehabbing people, I think, than maybe some of the rehab facilities WWE sends former talents to.
Well, I think that part of that is, because they both, believe it or not, I think they were both ready. I'm not taking any credit for any of that. I told them they can't stay here and drink or do drugs or that, but I if I was still married, I probably would have been allowed to do this, but I am single at the time, and, the great thing about having freedom, be able to do whatever the hell you want to do. And these are just, I never thought, well, you know what, I'll help out Jake, then I'll help Scott too. It didn't happen like that. Jake was handful enough, and when people would say, God, you're doing miracles with Jake, I'm like, hey, Jake's doing all the work. I'm just the guide. And I say, Jake will fall down any day. He's a drug addict. He's an alcoholic. And that's how I felt the first 4 or 5 months. And now I feel much stronger that I think he's really, he's hit a turn. And what I'm calling a shift right now. Scott, I think Scott coming in here was the best thing that happened to Jake, because all of a sudden, the thing with Scotty, when Scotty and I would ever talk over the years, he'd always like, Dally, but you don't understand. You're not an alcoholic. You're not a drug addict. And I would say, yeah, you're right. And when Jake got here, I go, but Jake is. And he never said that to me again. And it was just, he don't want to drink. He knows what it's done to his life. He has a new resurgence in himself, a pride, both of them, goals. They want to be great dads and granddads.